Welcome back to LinkedIn Logs. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the business podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Business podcast? I meant to say LinkedIn influencer. Who cares? As this theme song fades out, I forgot how long it was. 30 seconds long. Excuse me, it's 34 seconds long. The Late Night Lately one is 30. And then the Constitutionals is 15. Maybe I should cut most of these down. Nah, I don't want to do that. Too much work. Here we are, me messing with the ear cup of the headphones because I want to hear myself talk. Episode 12, LinkedIn Logs. I can't believe I've been doing it for 12 episodes. I can't believe I've been doing Constitutionals for 260. And plus bonus episodes. Plus episodes I didn't make because I took a lot of time off. All that time and effort for no return. Someone asked me today, because I talk to people. Someone asked me today, you haven't made money. They're like, what do you do? We're not working. I go, what do you do with this thing? And I went, oh, just my portfolio. I do it, blah, blah, blah. I don't make money from it. Like, you don't make money from it. No, I don't. I haven't made it for 10 years. And I said this like beautiful altruistic thing that saying it just cheapens the product if I did it for money. I'm just doing it to build the portfolio because I enjoy it. And then deep down, I thought, I gotta make some friggin' money on this thing. C Plus Comedy doesn't make money. I remember, 2 year is it, 2023? So maybe, 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I applied to a job. I won't say at what company. Warner Brothers. At the time it was Warner Media. I applied to a company, to Warner Media. And it was the only time I was like hotly contested for more than one position. But it's truly like the only time I was talking to a friend at the gym, and he just told me he was telling me about how two companies, Amex and Coke, want him to work in their marketing department. And he's leaving those, and they didn't. And like these just came out of nowhere. He's leaving another job, and he wasn't even looking. And then I was just sitting here going, God, I can't even get someone to talk to me. I can't even get a company to even want me initially. Anyway, this is the only time I was ever contested, hotly wanted for two different jobs, and they both happened to be at Warner Media. And one was the one I didn't go with was ultimately it's like a guaranteed 2-year contract job, not contract, but benefit and all that stuff. A guaranteed 2 years, but for significantly less money, and you would work, and it was in CNN, I believe. I don't remember, but anyway, and it was kind of a boring position. And I went through, all the 2 or 3 sets of interviews and everything. And I remember in one of the interviews, the head person of the position was, they were going through my, I guess, resume and everything. And then, I specifically did not mention, C Plus Comedy because I knew that these people were a little bit more serious. So I never mentioned that. And the head person goes, so how are you gonna continue doing this thing, your little portfolio, not little, but your portfolio, and I'm thinking, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'll do it, but only on the weekend, or late at night when I'm not working on the job, which, I've never done at any other position, but, and the guy just. Look, he just stared. He looked like Jerry. What is his name? He was an SNL star. Oh my God, hold on. Now I gotta look this up. SNL alum Jerry, Jerry Minor. He looked just like Jerry Minor, And I remember him looking at me. I was like, "Oh, I don't going. No, no, no. I'm gonna, I'll do it on the weekends. I'll do it late at night. I'm just not. It's never gonna get in front of my work or anything." And he was sitting there, stone face. If you just look up Jerry Miner, just stone face, staring at me. And after I said like a whole like a 10, 15-second spiel of like I can do it any other time, he was like, okay. And at that point, I went, well, don't. It's just that I'm like, I'm not making money from it. I have to. The reason why I keep doing it is A, I enjoy it truly, and then B, no matter how much I say I hate it, I enjoy doing these stupid shows and interviewing comedians and everything because it's great. It's an awesome thing to do. And I was doing it before people on TikTok and YouTube and Twitter and all that stuff. I'm proto version. And he, but so I do it because I enjoy it. And then two, it is a great thing to have in your back pocket because if I told the entire complete truth on my resume, if I wrote down, I wasn't here for 2 years, I was here for a year and a half, and then I had 8 months of no related jobs, and I was working, in a kitchen, not in a kitchen, I was working in a restaurant, or I was walking dogs, or I was at UPS, then they would go, oh, well, you're not ready for anything. Versus if I lie, and if I say, hey, I was here for 2.5 years instead of like just regular 2 years or 1.5, then they're going to be like, oh, so you were there for that amount of time. And, it's just, anyway, that's the reason why I did that. There's something else I wanted to say. I don't remember. Anyway, what else has been going on? I posted on LinkedIn that I don't know if you know this, unemployment runs out, and it's not that much in the first place. Except during the pandemic, during the height of the pandemic, it was worthwhile to sit at home. But I got nothing for me, and I did a little post on LinkedIn that admittedly ChatGPT wrote for me because I don't do sad long form posts. But I posted that, and I think now it has like 20 likes, which is jack crap compared to literally I saw one from a guy in my similar situation, but he's married, so he's a double income, and he's been out of a job for 8 months, and it had 4,000 likes and like 2,000 comments, people offering advice, versus mine is 20 likes, and they're all people I went to high school with. What I'm saying is, I need a job, not just for my sanity, but for my money. There's no use talking here about it. This is my least listened to show. Anyway, let's move on. I got some stories I want to talk about. Let me just bring that up. I've gotten good at bringing things up. This comes from CNBC, written by Michaela Cohen. These are the tech jobs that most threatened by ChatGPT and AI. Speaking of ChatGPT, we're going to see an abundant use of AI over the next couple of years. It's interesting. We went from, it feels like there's been a snowball effect where we went from not talking about AI in the way that we're talking about it today to now talking about it in the context of it's here to ruin our lives and also make them better. If you look at, Siri and Alexa and Google are all, they use AI-ish components, and Tesla cars, they use AI to, I guess, map the roads. And we've had artificial intelligence in our lives for the longest amount of time, for years, for decades probably. And it's just fascinating to see that this, in the past year, it's just been going from like very flat level to now it's at the highest peak where we're talking about it. So far this year, the tech industry has already cut 5% more jobs than it did in all of 2022, according to Challenger Gray and Christmas, which is a Christmas. Your last name is Christmas. There's only one person I can think of named Christmas, and she was on Big Brother, and she was a horrible racist. And she beat up when she was pregnant, she beat up a woman. I don't remember what for. I remember thinking, like, come on, have some decorum. And then I think she got married to another racist contestant on Big Brother. And I'll say that to their faces. They're racist. They're part of the family or the community or something like that. As layoffs continue to mount, workers are not only scared of being laid off, they're scared of being replaced altogether. I don't think a lot of the positions and tools within our world are going to, automation can't replace everything. As much as I talked about this on the Constitutionals last episode 259, where Hollywood is concerned about scripts. Hollywood writers are concerned about scripts redoing. Not redoing. What's the term I'm looking for? Being used. Studios using scripts. And studios, quite frankly, don't want to do that. Use scripts written by AI tools. I believe Universal Music or Warner Music, they just are trying. They're trying to set up laws within the government that say musical artists their voices cannot be mimicked, which is good. Like Hollywood should fully back this. We can't get on board with banning Mel Gibson or Kevin Spacey. Let me just keep naming white men who have done bad things. I'll name Chris Brown. Let's do that. Oh, look at me. But we can't get on board with this. Anyway, what they suggest in this article is that I'm just going to look at the headlines because I really don't care, but creatives and designers should adopt AI skills. Just like similar trends in history, creative jobs will be in demand after the widespread inclusion of generative AI and other AI tech in the workplace. You're going to have to be able to be malleable with the times. I mean, it's just like any type of technology. When typewriters turned into computers, those were a big deal. When phones were introduced, that was a big deal. So now we have to take this leap using AI tools. I mean, there's not like getting rid of AI completely from the workplace wouldn't really work in the long run. I do think we have to work in concert with these technologies. I like the women who, what's that movie called? Hidden Figures. The women who were the math for NASA. They did the math for NASA. Then eventually computers came along and the equations got bigger and more complex, but now we're using technology to work with and send people to space. We're going back to space. 2025, baby. Back to the moon. Let's do it. One of these days, Alice. Bam, zoom. Right to the moon. He's going to beat his wife and hit her so hard that he goes to the moon. Those situation comedies. Software developers and engineers will be impacted. Of course, I don't know how good AI is good at writing code. With code being taught in school, I can't see, it's someone like a whole company just plugging in, hey, let's make an app like Spotify, but also it records video and it can upload to the video and be like a TikTok type thing. I can't see someone plugging that into a code developer or a code machine. And I'm taking, if you notice, if you're watching the video, I'm taking the ear cup off because I saw the maintenance people doing their routine maintenance, like replacing filters and everything. So I've been concerned about them popping into my apartment. I know they'll knock, obviously. Not like I'm sitting here pantsless and they're going to just open the door. I'm like, oh no, you caught me. It's not my fetish. Okay, this is a linked influencer podcast. Come on, Chad. That's why my pants are off. Play on words. And yeah, I just can't see like a code building thing using that, like that type of thing. We're just gonna have to work in concert with these technologies and not become too reliant on them. and completely. I want to move on to this next thing because we are running out of time. This comes from the Wall Street Journal, written by Esther Fung. UPS and Teamsters kick off contract negotiations. I used to work at the United Parcel Service. There are, you should know this, there are all types of unions around the world, and the next story does talk about unions that I want to get into. But the unions are very, depending on who you ask, they're very important or not very important. Starbucks, they've been fighting against their union for a very long time. Howard Schultz he really is against it, and he's trying to prove that the company can do better for them. But, in terms of just store health and people wanting to continue working at Starbucks overall, I think that I've worked at Starbucks too. Interesting. I think that not really. I think that unions are better for the people that work there because yes, you can introduce Walmart and Starbucks and McDonald's can pay for you to go to college, but that comes at a cost of no health benefits, lower pay, poor time off. And if you've never worked in a sector of retail or food service and you don't understand, like if you can't grasp the scope of these types of deals, then you're really, first of all, congratulations. You've never had to struggle in your entire life, but you're really, you should take time to understand that unions are, large in part are for the betterment of the worker. Now there are times where like Teamsters for like movies and TV shows and things of that nature, they can run circles around the whole production and just essentially not do their work. I think that's Teamsters as a whole. Anyway, it's important that that there's a kind of a balance between the two. So the last deal they signed was a 5-year agreement in 2018. Now UPS and rival FedEx Corp have become more focused in recent years on delivering more profitable packages rather than increasing volume. FedEx has a restructuring plan that they want to do, and they want more flexibility. All companies want more flexibilities for their workforce to offer weekend drop-offs and other services. The new UPS contract will map out the delivery giant's cost structure at a time when customers demand more options for deliveries. UPS reported record operating profit in 2021-2022, but said in January that it's preparing for a global delivery slowdown this year. Teamsters say they realize the significance of the next UPS contract, which is expected to cover about 330,000 employees in a 5-year deal that would go through 2028. So when I was working at UPS, the first time I ever came into contact with union members is you would leave your shift at 9 o'clock. For me, I was leaving at 9 o'clock, getting in 3 or 4 a.m. And you would leave your shift and there'd just be a whole gaggle of mostly dudes, just old white dudes in hats and flannel, always just yelling at you, join the union, come on, come join the union, we're gonna fight for your rights, and they're mostly correct. But I remember asking the guy who worked on my assembly line with me, or my conveyor belt. I remember asking him, I was like, oh, who are those guys for? He's like, oh man, you don't want to work with his name was Chris. Oh man, you don't want to. I worked with a lot of Chris. you don't want to talk to those guys. They're union members. If you've been here a while, you can talk to them, but you don't want to do that. They'll suck you in and blah blah blah. And this was also a guy who worked at Ross, Dress for Less, and I remember one day he came in to the factory, the UPS factory, and he goes, yeah, man, I was sent home yesterday early from Ross. I guess he worked in the back, collecting deliveries or whatever, and putting on tags. But he goes, yeah, they made $0 yesterday. They literally made $0. My boss just sent me home because they didn't bring in any money yesterday. And I was like, what? Like, how does a Ross not have any customers? I think that's so funny. He also, I also remember that was the job I was working before I got 11 Alive, WXIA, and the Wednesday I learned I got it. The next Thursday, I learned Wednesday night at 9 p.m. I remember distinctly because I was going to bed and I was going to wake up at 3:30 to go to the 4 o'clock shift, and then I intentionally showed up late to work because I was like, I got this job, I don't have to do anything, and I told him that I got this what was it called? It was a help desk. That's what it was before I just took on the moniker of digital producer. I got this help desk job, and he was like, "Whoa, you're gonna be making what? 6 figures, $100,000?" And I was like, "What? I'm 22 years old." Oh my god! Like, how is that possible? It's just so funny. And then I remember all of the supervisors. I'm not kidding. I told Chris, the guy on my conveyor belt, and I told the HR person at UPS, and then the following day, literally all the supervisors knew. People I'd never even spoken to. Oh, Chad, congratulations! Oh, you're gonna Mr. Big Man. You're gonna be out of here. And I was just like, yep, I'm gonna come back here. And I was supposed to start a week from the next Monday. So I was going to start in like 7 + 3, 10 days. But then I was like, no, they need me this coming Monday. And I think the heaviest days for delivery are Tuesdays. And they're like, can you not stay on till Wednesday? And I went, nope. And I remember walking out of the front door. Anyway, thought that was very funny. But I remember like supervisors coming up to me, shaking my hand, like, congratulations. We're just like, we never spoke. Anyway, the union wants UPS to raise the pay for part-timers to do away with the second category of drivers to handle weekend deliveries. UPS, sorry, I lost the page. UPS says it wants more flexibility to have employees work during the weekends in response to shifts in demand from parcel recipients wanting deliveries any day of the week. We don't get mail on Sunday. Maybe we shouldn't get UPS deliveries on Sunday. And I only say that because we go through a secondary company here that takes in all of our deliveries, that is off-site, and they're with, it's Fetch. It's called Fetch, and it's essentially most apartment complexes around here also use Fetch. Not a lot, but some of them do. And yeah, I'll downgrade it from most to some. That's the title. Oh no, that can't be the title. This isn't the Constitutionals. I just came up with a great title and I can't use it. But but anyway, they stopped delivering on Sundays, and I learned that the hard way when you order something on a Friday night and then UPS says it's going to be there on Sunday. You go, okay, great, I'll get it Sunday evening. Oh, so anyway, so Fetch, what they do is UPS will deliver it to there, or Walmart, or whomever you're ordering from, and then you're in their system, and then they send it. They hire people, to come and drop it off at your apartment door. We used to have a package room, and then the pandemic hit, and rightly so. Everybody, like, they cut off the package room, and then they made it. We pay $25. I think it's either $10 or $25. No, the trash is $25, which is ridiculous. Anyway, I'm not gonna get into that. I've had my issues with the trash company, Valley Trash, and I've sent them some very angry emails because they're not picking up my cat litter. And you can't even tell it's litter. All you gotta do is just pick up the bag and it's just heavy. That's it. Anyway, whatever. We're not gonna talk about that. But it's $10 a month for residents, and you have to use it. It's built in. Okay, so yes, UPS wants to essentially get its part-time employees to make a decent wage, and the unions are really trying to keep enforcing these things. The talks are going to continue. They started in January, and they're going to continue, and we're going to see what kind of deals come from it. they deal with provisions not covered under the national agreement, such as paid time off, discipline, grievance procedures, seniority, overtime, and work hours. Grievance procedures are very important. I will. It's gonna get sad for a second, but my dad died when I got my the not the Warner job, but the job before that, like literally the second week. And then I had to go tell my boss. I was like, hey, I gotta go to this funeral. um, and it was just, but I felt like there was an obligation because it was my first job with benefits, and I had to, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, does it have to be on a Friday? Do I have to miss a Friday work day? Can it be on a Saturday? I wasn't saying that out loud. Anyway, there's that. That's the unions. And then the final thing, this one comes from Variety, written by Gene Mattis. WGA approves strike authorization with 97.9% voting yes. Now, it's important to note that the Warner's Guild of America, they have been fighting with studios within the past couple of years, talking about profits for streaming. Streamers like your Netflixes, your Hulus, your Disney Pluses, they're not treated the exact same as like a regular studio. Like Disney Plus isn't Disney. Hulu isn't Disney. Netflix isn't treated the exact same way that, your CBS, your Paramount is. I could have gone with Paramount and Paramount Plus, but whatever. Or CBS and Paramount Plus. But so number one, there was a writer's strike a couple of years ago. What year is it? 2023? When I was in high school. So maybe 15 years ago at this point. So there was a writer's strike, and it was and you'll remember it was like 2007, 2008. I think it was 2008. And SNL ended a season, at 15 episodes. Plenty of comedies and dramas ended seasons very, very early, and because I think it happened like March or April around this time. And they were striking for months on end, and they would do the picket line and all that stuff, and just things weren't getting made. That you should definitely want your writers to get paid, and that's the thing. The studios are taking in all this extra money, and it's more than just streaming, but this is one of the bigger issues. The studios are taking in all this extra money from streaming, and the profits aren't going to the people who help create it, and in this case, it's the writers. Now, the strike authorization is it's all the guild members of the Writers Guild saying, or 97.9% of them, it's the Writers Guild members going, hey, to the heads of the Writers Guild, we're saying that yes, we're giving you authorization to strike. Yes, if it does come down to a strike, then we want you to strike. They're not saying that they want a strike, period. They're saying that if that's the only possibility, then yes, then we're allowing that to happen. The contract expires for this current union contract for Writers Guild and between Writers Guild and the studios expires May 1st. Now, you remember, I think a couple of years ago, there was a big exodus of writers dropping their agents because of packaging deals that agents were getting. Because agents, I believe they can produce, and managers, they can't. It's one of those. Anyway, go look into it. I've done news time on it. Anyway, in an email to members, the guild said 78.79% of eligible members had cast ballots, and the vote was 9,020 rather in favor and 198 opposed. In 2017, the guild voted 96.3% in favor of strike authorization, but did not strike. But in 2007, they did strike with 90.3%. The guild also went on strike in 1988 after they voted 97%. It's just important that these it's big. You watch all these shows and you do all these things, and you watch all these shows and movies, and these people aren't getting paid. And I say these people because I'm not part of a union, even though I was asked. last week by somebody. Hey, you part of the union? I'm like, no, because I probably have a job by now. Because at least one person that in that union, that guild, would be like, hey, buddy, I got a job for you. Or I know I can reference you, refer you to somebody. Negotiations began on March 20th, but the early days consisted largely of speech making. There's not been much headway. So yeah, we could be going, the writers could be going to a strike. Could be. Things can be ratified. They just have to sign longer deals, longer and better deals. Isn't that important? Isn't that the thing that's important to know? And if you listen to the Constitutionals podcast, which is the entertainment business podcast, then I will dig more deep into that. But right now we're just talking about the business side, not the entertainment side. Hey, listen, speaking of things that are entertaining, I hope you found this entertaining. I don't know if you did. Probably not. If you like what you heard here, head on over to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where we've got other podcasts, including the aforementioned the Constitutionals, which is the Entertainment Business News Show, where I talk about entertainment business news. It's great. It's the premier one. It's the one that's been going on for a long time. You can also listen to, I believe, tomorrow on the Constitutionals feed. I interviewed Luke Moniz, who is a comedian. And he's part of Netflix's inaugural Introducing. He's been on a couple of comedy-based, TV-based projects, and also with Comedy Central and things like that. He has a new album coming out from Blonde Medicine. Anyway, check out that interview. It's great. Check out the other interviews. They also live on cpluscomedy.com. The other podcast is Late Night Lately, the Late Night Show, which is a late night, not recap podcast, but just talk about late night and the things I like there. We took a week off last week, but we'll be back this week talking about all things Roy Wood Jr., Jordan Klepper, both hosting The Daily Show, taking turns at it, and some other things that I've written down in my Notion. You want to see a video version of all those shows, including those interviews under the interviews, go to youtube.com/cpluscomedy, where you can also see our premiere show, News Time, which is like The Daily Show, except way less funny. You can follow us on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at @cpluscomedy. Follow me at Chad Black White. Rate, review, subscribe. Tell your friends. And that is the end of this show. I hope you enjoyed it. And one day, I'm going to remember to press the theme song button as I'm saying, the TikTok thing or whatever. Okay. Well, thanks for listening, and goodbye.